Hello, hello. So today we will discuss chapter 13, and it is how to turn a crisis into a creative opportunity. We know that a word crisis has two meanings, right? One meaning, if we speak, if we look at Chinese word, crisis, it has two meanings, and one meaning is a problem, and another meaning is opportunity. And in this chapter, we will discuss how we can turn crisis into opportunity, because there is always opportunity in every crisis. Okay? So who would like to start discussing this chapter?
I'll go, Elena. So basically what I got from this was that, the crisis, we turn that into opportunity. So we're depending on, using our perceptions. So using our higher mental faculties. So perception is one, shifting your paradigms, your limiting beliefs as to, what you think about a certain thing. So, crisis, that's what I got. That's what I got from that. Like, it comes down to your paradigms, how you change that, and using your mental faculties to help you with that.
Very good. Yeah. So, what we see in different people when they are in not ordinary situation. As in this page, it says, like there are two kinds of people. One kind of people performs worse under the pressure. Yes, for example, some students perform worse when they do exam. So like when they relax, they perform better, and in the exam, they forget everything. Yeah. And another group of people, vice versa. They can maybe be ordinary, right, students, and at the exam, they just get all their strength and focus, and they perform very well. Yes, so what makes these people different? What is different between these two categories? How did you understand?
They take pressure and use in positivity in their strength instead of choke up due to pressure.
Yeah, so these two people have different attitude towards stress. Okay, and different attitude towards unexpected situation. So the challenge of the situations brings out abilities that people usually not possess, like that people usually not possess. Yeah? So for some people in challenging situation, they find out some stress, some strength that ordinarily they didn't get. And in the stimulus of the occasion awakens and brings to life something within them. Yes, so, and other people may be different, right? They can be very good, but in situations which is unknown, they totally lose control, they lose themselves and perform worse. Okay, so now let's discuss the secret of the money player. Let's discuss this article. You see, this is about the difference between these people, that it's largely a matter of how they learn to react to crisis situations. Yes, so all this chapter today is to teach us how we can learn to react to crisis situation, how we can practice in when it is no crisis, but we can practice our attitude and create the right habits. So if some unexpected situation happens, we can perform well and it will not matter what's happening around. Okay. So let's discuss this paragraph, A Secret of the Money Player.
A
What is
crisis is
crisis? Yeah.
a crisis is a situation that can either make you or break you. It is the situation is the same for both of the people. It is the difference of their attitude, how they react, and one of the people become successful in the same situation, and the other one reacting wrong and they got unsuccessful in the same situation. They take pressure on them and not use their strength and power and wisdom to come out of that pressure and use this crisis as for their opportunity.
Yeah, it is such important phrase here is that a crisis is a situation that can either make you or break you. You see, it is a situation that can make you or break you. And this is just depends on you, how you want it to affect you. It is your choice. And the ability to manage yourself, your emotions, your attitude at every situation will help you to use this crisis to make you to even grow more. Okay, if you react properly to the situation, a crisis can give you a strength, power, wisdom you do not ordinarily possess. And if you react improperly, a crisis can rob you of the skill, control, and ability that you ordinarily have to call up. Yes, so it is again a matter of choice, and this is so powerful. And it also is very aligned with what Bob Proctor teaches us, that if we learn to live from inside out, we will stay that way even when we face the crisis, because it is our habit to live from inside out. We don't react to outside things. And it helps us to be in control of our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
As I remember the great cure of Bob Proctor, you are the only problem and you are the solution of your problem.
Yes, right. Yes, but this is not always that you are only problem, right? It is, problems can be also from outside. For example, like a war in the country. It cannot be like problem of individuals, right? Some situation it is, or like, for example, maybe tsunami, yes? Like it cannot be just one person caused tsunami, right? To say that it is problem in person. It is from other side, it can be problem. If the person has wrong attitude, his wrong attitude can be a problem for him. And if he has the right attitude, it means that he will be solution, right? So in any case, the person is in situation already, and his own attitude will help him to grow, or it will cause him to break. Yes, so the meaning is here. Yes, so here we can read that the person who comes through in the clutch, who performs better under the stimulus of challenge, is invariably the person who has learned either consciously or unconsciously to react well to crisis situation. Yeah, so what we learn here that we can learn consciously or unconsciously, we can learn how to react well. So if we have the right attitude, whatever happens, we can always use every situation to grow and even win. Yes, just to find even more opportunities. So what we should do in order to perform well in crisis?
We need to develop certain skills that's necessary in, so that we can be motivated enough to do that.
Mhm.
To practice without pressure. So like they say, diamonds are made under pressure.
Mhm. Okay, yes, what else? We can learn 3 things here. First, Alka told learn certain skills. Yeah. What is the second?
We need to learn to react to crisis with an aggressive attitude toward our positive goal in mind to achieve the success. With the aggression to achieve our positive goal.
Yeah, so aggressive rather than a defensive, right? So if we are in situation, we can choose to be a victim, yes, and just take a defensive position, or we can be aggressive and we can look at the situation, what the situation gives, which opportunity it gives, and how I can use those opportunities, what good I can find. Because in every situation we can find good things, in every situation, whatever happens. And this is our ability to also, it is a habit which we have to create before that situation happens. If we have a habit to find good in each situation, even in bad situation, this habit will serve us, and we will still look for good, and we will use that good, and we will grow. Okay, so also here it is important that with this aggressive attitude, when we want to use to find good in situation, we should have our positive goal in mind. Yes, so our goal will help us to be in that state when we don't lose our goal. Yes, it will give us that power. And what is the third here?
You need to evaluate your so-called crisis so that, so it's the true perspective is not to make mountains out of molehills.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't react to things easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because usually this saying that the fear has huge eyes. Yes, like that in fear on a crisis, usually people exaggerate. They just think problems even bigger than they are. So here we also learn to see things as they are and not exaggerate. Just not to create mountains out of molehills. Yeah, so these habits, if we cultivate them in everyday life, right? This just it is as a perception, as power of will, just to control our thoughts. They will help us to be good in every situation that may happen. So let's now discuss different aspects of these practices and how we can learn to use our right attitude. So first is practice without pressure. Let's discuss this one. What means practice without pressure, and what is it for?
Practice without pressure. Was said he will never learn to become a championship swimmer, but he will manage how to swim in the pressure situation. So if you want to be expert, you have to practice him in the normal condition when he is not in the pressure or tense situation. Then he will make the practice to become a champion or be an expert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if the person wants to be a champion swimmer, he should practice without pressure. And in any other sport, for example, even musician, yes, they should practice initially without pressure. And when they are already good, like they have those automatic skills, yes, automatic skills, then they just go and perform. And so if you want to be, if you want to perform great in everything we do, we should practice without pressure and have those habits. So if the pressure comes, those habits will serve us and we will do the right, we will find the right way. So see, here it was they did some tests on rats, right? So those rats which knew that maze before, right? When they went there without pressure, they found the food faster than those who just were put in maze first time, and they needed much longer time to find the food. So it means that if the person is not trained and he finds himself in an unexpected situation, if he doesn't train his mindset to control his thoughts, to control his attitude, to look at different points of view, to things, if he is not trained, the person can lose himself and start panic and go out of control. But if we use these habits and like make it a habit, so we will continue doing this in every situation. Okay. What else?
The more intense the crisis situation under which you learn, the less you learn.
Situation. So we will learn more. Okay.
Also, people, they need stimulus, and if they don't get that required stimulus, then they retreat.
See, people, some people practice to there is no pressure. So people, when they train themselves, when there is no pressure, they will also be much. Shadow boxing, and why is this important? Different. And people, for example, Jim Corbett, practices situation when in those. So when if effectively here when given the performance publicly. It's one before the audience. So this is all samples tells us that people want to great result and athletes practice in private with as little pressure as possible. Their coaches refuse to permit the press to witness practice sessions and even refuse to give out any information concerning their practice for publicity purpose in order to protect themselves from pressure. So what we learn from here that if we want to learn something, we should learn with the minimum pressure. And when we do it again and again, then we can perform also in any situation and we will get great results. Okay, so let's resume this. The results you get from sitting in a chair and visualizing are phenomenal. Even so, you would be wise to pay heed to the following Dr. Maltz sentence again. The technique of shadow boxing or practice without pressure is so simple and the result often so striking that some people are inclined to associate it with some sort of magic. Okay? And this can be practiced for everything, right? What we can be afraid of, we just can practice it with us. We can practice it in front of the mirror till we become more confident and don't feel the fear or that feeling of not being confident or comfortable. In shadow boxing, you practice self-expression with no inhibiting factors present. You learn the correct moves. You form a mental map that is retained in memory. You create a broad, general, flexible map. Then when you face a crisis, an excellent means of or inhibiting factor is present, you have learned to act calmly and correctly. Yes, because this is already a habit which you developed. So this is a carry over in your muscles, nerves, and brain from practice to the actual situation. Moreover, because your learning has been relaxed and pressure-free, you will be able to rise to the occasion, extemporize, improvise, act spontaneously. And at the same time, your shadow boxing is building a mental image of yourself acting correctly and successfully. Yes, so when we practice with the less resistance, yes, and less stress, we build this itself a mental image of ourselves acting correctly and successfully. And when we face a real situation, this mental image which we have been built, acting correctly and successfully, will work for us. Okay? What about dry shooting? Who knows what it was about? Have you read this chapter? Yes? Okay. So do you remember what was about this dry shooting?
Calmly and deliberately, he pays attention to just how he is holding the gun.
Yes, when you don't do something for purpose, right? Just when he wanted just to use his gun and was just focusing, his hand becomes trembling, yeah? But when he knew that there was no patrons, it was okay, yes, because he was not focused on achieving the goal, right? He was only focused on holding this gun. And also in other spheres of life, if we just have this attitude that nothing will happen, yes, that we shouldn't be just so worried about the outcome, and then it will help us to perform better.
To be stay in a calm situation and not take so much pressure.
Yes.
We will achieve the good results with this mental attitude.
Yes. So if we like with the boy who couldn't see the ball, yes, because he was so much excited and focused that he couldn't get the ball. So what he did, what the trainer did to him, in this case, Maxwell Maltz, he told him, don't even try to hit the ball. Don't try at all. Keep your bat on your shoulder, but watch the ball very carefully. Keep your eyes on it from the time it leaves your daddy's hand until it goes by you. Stand easy and loose and just watch the ball go by. So after he had this attitude that he was not so much excited to catch the ball, but when he just was observing the ball, then the next step he could catch it. Yes, and also it is in different situations. When we so much focused on the outcome, we get so much excited that we don't perform well, right? We don't see that ball as it was this with this guy. But if we just relax and just not to be so excited about overcome, but think about the process itself, it will help us to get better results. For example, here also another paragraph, the salesman who practiced not selling. What is it about? How it worked?
Your automatic success mechanism must respond appropriately and automatically. Too much tension, too much motivation, and too much anxiety for results jams the mechanism.
So here, this salesman, how he changed his attitude. He just considered his sales as not sales. He just was not focused on selling. He just decided that it is just practice for him, right? That these calls are just practice. And when he moved his focus from selling to just the process itself and just became relaxed about the outcome, his sales became better. Okay, so this is again teaches us to practice in the non-stressful situation. So if we decide that we are not attached to overcome, we are not attached, like we detached ourselves from overcome, it creates that relaxed atmosphere, right? As that guy who was hunting, right? When he knew that his gun doesn't have patrons, so he was detached from outcome, right? Because he knew that he cannot get any bird, right? So he was just practicing, but his hand, his muscles, they learned in this relaxed mode, they learned the moves. So when he used those patrons, he could count and get results. And it can be applied for every situation. Okay, so let's discuss the next one, how to make your nerves work for you.
In medicine, the crisis is a turning point where the patient gets worse and dies or gets better and lives. Thus, every situation is a true point. As we have discussed earlier, in crisis, we have the true situation, the crisis, and the other one is the opportunity. It's how we use our mental attitude positively to use this and to achieve our result, to use this opportunity. Because opportunity once missed, it becomes threat.
Yes, yes. And also it is important to have this attitude, that to think what I'm going to do and what I want to happen, right? If we know that the crisis is a fork in the road, so it can be it is turning point, right? Like things can be improved or things can get worse, and it means that we can choose what we will think about. We can choose about things which improve, or we can just start getting fear or doubt and just go versa, right? So here we can choose the right attitude and think what I'm going to do and what I want to happen, right? And if we focus on what we want to happen, then it is more likely that we will get those results which we want. So the same attitude is another important key to react well in any crisis situation. If we can maintain an aggressive attitude, react aggressively instead of negatively to threats and crises, the very situations itself can act as a stimulus to release untapped powers. So when the person gets this attitude in crisis, it most likely that he will find unseen, untapped powers in him, and he will get even more energy and will be successful. Yes, and here are some stories. Yeah, you remember? It is some untapped power stories from people who did extraordinary things under some unexpected situation. Okay. So let's discuss the next one. Crisis brings power. Hi, Zodi. Hi, Roderick.
Hi, Elena.
We don't see you. Hi. Nice.
Hi,
Call,
my
guys.
internet is not. My internet is not stable.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So let's discuss this crisis brings power.
Common experience teaches that when great demands are made upon us, if we only fearlessly accept the challenge and confidently expand our strength, every danger or difficulty brings its own strength with it. As we have earlier discussed, the example of the athletes and the players, the situation is tough for the both of the players, and those who perform better in the same situation, they use their strength in the crisis situation.
Yes, so when we have to face danger, then courage comes, right? We find ourselves possessed by the power of endure, or when disaster ultimately brings the fall which we so long dreaded, we feel underneath us the strength as of the everlasting arms. Every danger or difficulty brings its own strength. And again, it is our attitude. If we shrinking from difficult tasks, yes, so we can feel like in defense mode, right? But when we face the difficulty and when we think what I can do in this situation, and I want situation to be this way, right? So we just ask question what we can do, what should we do, and it is different mode. And when we ask right question, we get right answers, and we get energy to accomplish what we ask for. Okay, so this is very important. Every danger or difficulty brings its own strength. So when we know this, we will look for strength in every difficult situation because we know that it is there, right? And to find it, we just need to have right attitude. And if we have right attitude, we also will have the necessary strength to overcome the situation. Okay, so the secret lies in the attitude of fearlessly accepting the challenge and confidently expanding our strength. See, a secret lies in the attitude of fearlessly accepting the challenge. This is secret, that we shouldn't be in fear, we should fearlessly accept the challenge, and we should look for that power which this challenge has in itself, and confidently expanding our strength, right? We should be confident. So this is again our attitude and our choice. Hi, Lika.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, we are now in
Elena.
Yes.
Elena, sorry, I just wanted to just make a comment. So in this situation also, when you think of a danger or when you see yourself in a particular situation, also that also brings in, you got to have that faith, that ability, that the faith that everything's going to be okay. So that attitude that you have within you, You know, so the will and the faith and belief in that too, I think is important to get you out of that.
Of course, it is actually the key point. The key point is faith, and we just should be confident and sure that everything will be good, and that in this situation we will even learn something, we grow, and we will find even positive things. And if we have this attitude, it will happen the way we think. Because what is the faith? The faith is not believing in something that you can see. The faith is something that you believe in what you don't see. And because you have faith, you start to see that. You know, like because if you have faith, you will see what you want to see. So you see it initially in your mind, and you should be in the right frequency, like to be confident, to be calm, and sure that everything will take, like everything will be good the way you want it to be. And in this case, you will feel like invisible hand just controlling everything around you. And you just also need to listen your intuition. Why all these high mental faculties are important? Because they all work together. You cannot just use imagination and not using willpower, because willpower helps you to keep that image which you want to be in your mind, right? And not be distracted by things which going outside of you, right? This is the way how we learn to live, from inside out. And the will is important to control your thoughts, not to let feelings overcome, and not to have the wrong feelings, right? And also intuition. When we have faith that universe will take care of us and everything will be the way we want, or even better, that we even don't know what is better for us, but we know that it will be all sorted out, then we should have intuition developed, right? Because we should listen to that options which open in front of us to get the right way. You know, like it is interesting how it happened with us. See, we came from Ukraine initially when this the rocket came to the airport nearby, just less than 2 kilometers. We call, like our friends call us and said that come to my house, because it is better not to stay in the city now. And we came, I just told my mother and Karina, just let's just take something necessary and go from house within half an hour. We went there, and that place where we came, actually, that place was near military airport, and all like military planes were there. So actually, going from our house, we even came closer to that potential place which will be bombed. And
Wow.
there was like these military planes, when they just set off or just fly, they make like such a big noise, ooh, like this, you know. And then my friend just called me and told that, Elena, you just should leave Ukraine. And she just helped me to understand that because of this war situation, we can live without passport even. And she just told that we will come to the border to pick you up. So also in this situation, we need intuition, you know, because this already was stressful, for example, for my mother, who is 83, and she was already getting to sleep when I made decision to go. And we just document something small, and I called another friend, one had car full of petrol, another one accepted, like agreed to take us to the border. So everything just came together, you know, like it is just like a miracle. It works because even one element, if it was not there, we couldn't leave. For example, there was no petrol already. Because of panic, people just buy petrol, and there were already huge lines for petrol, and each car could get only 20 liters of petrol. Where you can go with 20 liters? You cannot go anywhere, right? So that fact that the car was full with petrol, which was for 1,000 kilometers. And another friend, I called him and told that we decided to leave. And he asked, when you want to leave? I said, right now. He said, okay, I will come in 15 minutes, you know? So everything just came as it was just all one to one. And if one element wasn't there, we couldn't leave. Okay, so this what I tell the faith, and developed these high mental faculties. So when we live and when we use these high mental faculties in our everyday life, as it is said here in this chapter, when we practice them in relaxed mode, right? When there is no pressure, we should practice them every day. So we already know how to listen our intuition. We already know how to make decisions fast. And everything this helps us when we face a different situation suddenly. And when we have faith, and also when we have relations to God, with God, because see, it is very important to have close relations with God and the faith that He always take care of you, because it is not like it is important to feel like God is your friend, to whom you speak every day, and that you know that He always take care of you, because in such situation, it also works like that. You feel like you're like invisible hand just take care of you, and you just calm and peaceful, and you don't worry about this. Because many people, they don't develop relations to God, right? They don't pray, they don't they're not grateful, and they just when something happens, they just say, oh, God help me, right? But God doesn't know them because they didn't create those relations. It is like a friend who just knock in your door when he needs something. Will you consider such person a friend?
No.
When he never communicates with you, never just speaks, but if he needs something, salt or egg, he will come and knock your door, right? Of course not. So this is all factors are very important, and that's why this all we should develop all this, like faith. And I didn't tell you one thing. Then we went to Romania, and it was too far to go to embassy, 800 kilometers. So another friend told that he has friend in Warsaw, and we decided to go Warsaw for Karina document. And when we were on the way to Warsaw, and that lady also told that she can find the place we can stay. On the way to Warsaw, another friend from London, she called me on the way, and she told, Elena, do you have place to stay? I say, now we just go Warsaw and see what can be there. And she said, go to my parents in Vienna, and they will take care of you. just go to my mother, go. And she just forced me to write to her mother. She just called her mother, and her mother also wrote me that, yes, come please here. And it, like it really like invisible hand, we just arranges everything. And now we are here in Vienna. So I mean that it never would work this way if I would worry or just be panic. It would not work this way, because it would be totally different frequency. And we know that we attract things, the same things, according to the frequency we are, right? The energy which we send. So if we are calm and confident and just grateful, even in every situation we can be grateful. And I practice this also. It is actually very interesting to practice all this in extreme situation, because you can see even how it works even more. Yeah, because when in everyday life, it is just like theory, right? Theory. But when you come in this different situation, you really see how it works. And it's just amazing experience.
Mm. That's a good, yeah, that's a good point though, Elena, because, not that we need to put ourselves, I mean, I can totally understand how, you are at this present moment. I mean, war is happening in your country, but not to say everyone, we don't need to think about that. But you know what, being grateful, and even in these situations, it forces us, it allows us to even to look from the outside in as to what is happening and how you can really elevate your life and elevate your thinking. Because it is so, because it's in these moments that if we are grateful, if we do begin to see the bigger thing to what is happening around us, that we can change everything around.
Yes, yes. And also it is very important to live from inside out. If you learn to live inside out, you are not anymore the victim for outside world. You're not a puppet for others. Because when you just live as most of people, when you live from outside in, you just react. Everything happens, you just react. You don't have your own core. Yes, but once you learn to live from inside out, you can be amazed that outside world doesn't have much impact on you anymore. You don't react. Yes, it happens, but you are not involved emotionally. Yes, you observe things, but you don't get emotionally. And you get emotionally to what you want, because you used to think what you want to think, and you used to get your emotions to what you want. That's why it is very powerful to develop this and start living from what you want, and start seeing what you want, and not allow your outside factors affect you. Just whatever outside, you just don't think that it is much important. The much important is where you now in your thoughts and what you want, and which state you are, which frequency you are, and what your actions according to what you want.
Elena, thank you for sharing. This is so beautiful. I have a question for this is right, you're saying it's your real experience on a deeper level that you are experiencing, and you're using your mental faculties. Those moments when you had to make the decisions and you went through to those steps, didn't you feel did you feel all the time calm, as you're saying, calm and confidence because you know how it works? Or did sometimes you felt a little bit fear? Did the fear come sometimes in, or was the fate so big that you just know, because as we know, as you already said in the beginning, you have developed the will to hold the image that you had in your mind. And if you have the will developed, you only live from the inside out, and you have that image where you want to go, you know your direction. Is that holds your fate all the time? Can you explain how the feeling and the emotions was when you made all those decisions?
Yes, I will tell that, of course, fear came because we are humans, and every human it is fear. It is just part of our mental activity, right? Not thinking, but mental activity, right? So because we all have mental activity, different thoughts come, but it was not panic fear. It was just thoughts that it is not safe to stay there, and because of those thoughts came, it helped me to make decision, right? So fear, it is good to have fear because it helps us to make decisions, to change the situation we are in. It is important our attitude to fear, right? That it is good to have fear, but it is important how we deal with this, right? Somebody just can let this thought overcome and become panic, right? And what we learn, because we learn to control our thoughts, we use fear for our best, right? We just use it as a signal that we should make decision to change, not to stay, right? Because if we don't have fear, we would not do anything, right? We would just stay at the same time, relaxed and taking sun bath, right? But it would be it would be logical. So the fear, actually, it is very good because it gives us some signals, and we need to just develop our right attitude to fear, right? And just not panic, but just make right decision and use our intuition and just focus on solution, just find solution instead of being just fearful. You see, like fear itself, it paralyzes if you just fear. But if you just use fear, you you focus your thoughts to finding solutions and then making a decision, right? So everything this helps you to make decision and to act also, right? Because if there is no fear, you would not act. That's why it is all not about having it or not having. It is all how you manage. Because even having fear, it is good if you can manage this, because it can help you to just make decision, to make the move, and to change the situation you are in.
Yeah, that's true. But I also think because of Bob's teachings that you have to have your goal in mind so that the universe knows where you want to go, and if you have that willpower that you're going to that direction, as you were saying, it's like miracles happening because there is where you want to go. You hold it with your will. There is where you want to go. So everything in the outer world will help you to bring you to that direction or that goal that you're going. So it's so beautiful to see that in your case, it's really intense how you can see all the movements that you made because you're going to that direction and you're not looking or at other. You're feeling your intuition that's where you want to go. So
Yeah,
thank you for
this is very
sharing.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very important because when you focus on your goal, you don't let other things to get your focus because you
Yeah.
already focus on your goal. So
Yeah.
everything that happens, you just like see it just side.
Yeah.
It is like side, you know, like it is just, yes, it's coming there. But you see in front of you where you want to be, what you want to do, and what is your goal. And when you
Yeah.
just focus all time on that, the situation can change, but you
Mhm.
will stay on the track. You will
Yeah.
not let the situation just break you down and or change your trajectory.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's go back because actually this chapter, it is, you know, everything like on time. And last chapter also was on time, which was like
Yeah.
exactly at the right time where it is
Yes.
for us to discuss it, because I
It's
live,
beautiful.
yeah, like I read this in book and also I live it in my life, so I can practice immediately. And I can see how it works. Okay, so let's go back and let's discuss keep your goal in mind.
It's remaining true to your goal, and it's remaining goal orientated. So like you just said that when we have our goal, when we have a purpose, we're on that lane, so it doesn't matter what comes beside us. We see it, but we are seeing better the goal in mind that we have in front of us.
Yes, good. Yeah, so the essence of this aggressive attitude is remaining goal oriented. Yeah. Yes, good. So it is important that you intend to go through the crisis experience to achieve your goal. Yes, we have that intention. Because remember, everything is energy, right? So if we intend to go to our goal, whatever it happens, we are in different frequency. If people just take defensive mode and think, oh, why this happened to me? Oh, so pity, what I will do, it is totally different frequency. So this aggressive attitude helps us to keep on that frequency to move forward to our goal. Yes, and as it is said, you keep your original positive goal and do not get sidetracked into secondary ones. The desire to run away, to hide, to avoid crisis situation. Yes, we shouldn't avoid crisis situation because we are already there. So we cannot avoid it. We just need to maintain our attitude, to use the situation for our best, not let it break. Okay.
And I
So
like what it says, is that your attitude is one of fight instead of fear or flight.
yes, right. And see, if you can do this, the crisis situation itself acts as stimulus that releases additional power to help you accomplish your goal. Yes, and I will tell you, I even feel more powerful now because now my thoughts are just to settle and to do my coaching business and just to be more active, help more people, because every situation which we lived, it gives us experience, right? So it is not that you learn something from reading books or watching TV. When you live this, and when you come out of the situation even stronger. So I feel like I can even share more with people now and I can help them even more because see some situation, some people, they just face very small problem and they just panic and they say, oh, so bad, wow, how can it happen to me, right? And on the other hand, we can just be in that so bad situation and just and keep like, it's okay. Life is going on. Yeah, so now I feel like I'm even more energetic and powerful, and I just want even to make my business even more active. Okay, so it gives us additional power to help us accomplish our goal. Purpose of emotion is reinforcement or additional strength rather than to serve as a sign of weakness. So we can have excitement, and excitement manifests itself as fear, anger, courage. And so again, see that we can have fear, and we can change it to excitement. We can transfer it to the excitement which we can use to get even more energy and unleash our power. Okay, so the real problem is not to control emotion, but on the other hand, it is said here that we should not be too much, yes, excited. So we should be in control, the choice of which tendency shall receive emotional reinforcement. If your intention or your attitude goal is to go forward, if it is to make the most of the crisis situation and win out in spite of it, then the excitement of the occasion will reinforce this tendency. It will give you more courage, more strength to go forward. Yes, it gives even more strength and more courage to go forward. If you lose sight of your original goal and your attitude goal becomes one of running away from the crisis, or seeking to somehow get past by evading it, this running away tendency will also be reinforced, and you will experience fear and anxiety. You see, so it is also an answer for your question, Zeudi. Did you get it right? So it is right. So it is all our attitude. So our attitude, or it will be excitement, or it will be fear, right? So we can get fear and make it excitement, right? If you have right attitude. Okay. Don't mistake excitement for fear. You see, many people have made the mistake of habitually interpreting the feeling of excitement as fear and anxiety, and therefore interpreting it as a proof of inadequacy. Any normal person who is intelligent enough to understand the situation becomes excited or nervous just before a crisis situation. Okay? So many people, like when they want to speak on the scene, they create excitement before even they go and speak on the scene, right? It gives them more strength.
As the example of actors and soldiers were shared, experienced actors know that this feeling of excitement just before a performance is a good token for them to use this excitement to make them practice without pressure.
Yes. The excitement that you feel just before a crisis situation is an infusion of a spirit and should be so interpreted by you, right? So we also can, like somebody can have fear, but he can think, oh, it is not fear, it is excitement, right? And excitement we can see as a infusion of spirit and should be so just helpful even, right? So it is again our attitude, our perception, because this is just emotions, and it is us. If we learn how to control these emotions, we will use them the way we want instead of them using us, right?
It also gives the example of some people get excited during examination, that when they begin to write something, their hand just trembles. So because they get so excited that they can't think clearly or hold a pencil because they're excited. So
Yes, in this case, if they cannot hold a pencil, they should detach from outcome. Yeah, this we discussed before. Yes, because they're too much focused on outcome, and it just makes them stressed, and it doesn't work for them. It is good to just relax and just be detached from outcome and just think about the process itself. Okay, so what is the worst can possibly happen? Many people have a tendency to magnify out of all proportion the potential penalty or failure that the crisis situation holds. Let's discuss this one. So how we can use this information here?
If you face a real crisis, you need a lot of excitement.
Yes.
Because the real threat is much less than you have estimated.
Yes, excitement can be used to good advantage in the crisis situation. But if you overestimate the danger of the difficulty, if you react to information that is false, distorted, or unrealistic, you are likely to call up much more excitement that the occasion calls for. And because the real threat is much less than you have estimated, all this excitement cannot be used appropriately. It cannot be gotten rid of through creative action. Therefore, it remains inside you, bottled up as the jitters. A big excess of emotional excitement can harm rather than help performance simply because it's inappropriate, right? So it is very important to not overestimate the situation, right? And get excited, but not too much that it will not be released and just stay in the person himself. So when more misfortune threatens, consider seriously and deliberately what is the very worst that could possibly happen. Having looked this possible misfortune in the face, give yourself sound reason for thinking that after all, it would be no such very terrible disaster. Yeah, so we can just see what the worst can happen, right? So if we just see what the worst can happen, then we will not think so bad, because we already thought about the worst, right? And now it is not happened like that what we thought. Such reasons always exist, since the worst nothing that happens to oneself has any cosmic importance. When you have looked for some time steadily at the worst possibility and have said to yourself with real conviction, well, after all, that would not matter so very much, you will find that your worry diminishes to a quite extraordinary extent. It may be necessary to repeat the process a few times, but in the end, if you have shrieked nothing in facing the worst possible issue, you will find that your worry disappears altogether and it replaced by a kind exhilaration. Yes, for example, people who are afraid on the sale call, yes, what will happen? What will happen? Okay, you will not make the sale, right? You will stay the same place as you are, but nothing dramatic happens, right? So if the person just sees that he will be better or he will be the same, so there is nothing to worry about, right? So sometimes it's just like this attitude, just to look at something as just a practice, right? So we remove that tension from the process. So when we remove the tension, And we think, okay, the worst scenario is that you will not make a sale. So what happens? Nothing happens, right? So like this talk can help to just release the tension and be relaxed and not attached to outcome. And it shows that in such a state, person is more productive because he is detached already from outcome.
Alina,
Yeah.
isn't it true though also that, you're giving an example of the, salespeople, like sales call, but isn't it also true depending on your environment, because like your environment is but your looking glass? So like, Grant Cardone, like he's salespeople, he's a good boss, but he expects a lot from his sales people and the calls that they have to make. So I'm just giving that an example, that it depends also on your environment. Like, like you said, if you're more relaxed and if you don't make a call, well, it's okay, but it's just like a practice run. But it depends on your environment. Like that example, like you have to make calls.
Yes, you make to have a calls, of course, because you have a goal. You come to be trained by him with the purpose, right? Because you have a goal and you do these calls, but it is important in which state you do these calls. It is not about the calls to do or not to do. It is about the state in which you do these calls. If you just relaxed, yes, you know that you should make a sale, but you will make the sale better if you are detached from making the sale. If you just make a call and you just don't much, how to say it, stressed upon making this sale. As it is all here about attitude, how to maintain our attitude and how to get better results. And they should practice this course in the mirror as here, gun without bullets. That's it. They will get better results. Yes.
Can I add something? When you, like, for example, for a salesperson, when they make a call, and as Elena said, yes, you have to do as if you're practicing and all those things, but also come from the state of mind from abundance and not from lack. So when you have a state of mind, remember when we stopped saying you have to come from the end, from that frequency that you are. So on that frequency, you are the person that already have those sales and you have that abundance, because everything starts in the mind. You come from your imagination. So when you come from that, when you come on the call, you come not from I want to have the sale, you come from the abundant state of mind.
Because you are not, you are detected from the outcome. You speak as making the sale is not important for you. You just speak as you are practicing and you just do this. And when you do this again and again so many times, so you become professional. You cannot become not to become professional. You become professional. As a result, you will get sales. But this is all about the state and about attitude. In which state you do this.
So, no, that's fine, Elena. No, that's fine. I totally understand. It's the state, but I'm just giving an example. It's not that, any individual. I'm talking about some environment of some organizations I'm talking about that you're working in. That environment can be so stressful. And even though you might say, okay, it's my state of mind. Yeah, I'm talking about abundance. I'm talking about all of that. But I'm just talking about in the sense of some organizations. Some are they expect a lot from you. You have to deliver on that. So that is my question. Even if that stressful environment that you're in, I don't think it's possible to say, oh, I'm going to think of just about abundance. I'm thinking about just of that, because I just gave an example of Grant Cardone. His environment, you're lucky if you stay there just that one day, but he keeps stats on you, how many calls you've made. etc., etc. So I was just merely saying, not from an individual thinking, yeah, from an abundance point of view, I was just merely saying from working for an organization. Some organizations are very strict. They expect a lot from you. They expect a lot from your team members. They expect a lot from you. So from that standpoint, Elena, I was just merely saying how I don't think it's possible for someone to say, yeah, it's your state of mind. It comes down to you have a quota that you have to meet.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which organization. First, nobody can maintain your state if not you. You can be in every organization, every environment, but it is you who choose your state. And this needs practice, of course. You need to practice. And more you practice, you can more be in your own state which you want. It is first. And second is why people are in such organizations. Why they are. They choose such organization, right, to work there. Because I think these guys who work with Grant Cardone, they just want to be trained this way because they really want to be professionals and they want to be high achievers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they went there to work with him already knowing that they will work in such hard control, but they know this they go there with purpose because they have a big goal. They know that they will suffer suffer for a while, right? Like with this mode, again, they can control their state. It doesn't matter how it is outside, but they go there with the goal. They know that working with him 1 year, 2 years, they will become millionaires. They will become professionals with high performance. And if they have that big goal in their mind, they are ready to just temporarily be in such a mode, but they know why they do this and what they are there for.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they have a purpose.
And also he wants these people as his, right? Everyone has his own avatar. So he has this system and he wants to create high achievers. He wants to create millionaires, billionaires. So he doesn't want somebody who just want to come and relax and drink 10 cups of coffee every half an hour. It is not this person, right? So he is not for everyone. He has this purpose for himself to create millionaires, to create successful people, and this is his rules. If people want the same goals, they come and they work together, and this is what they are committed to do. If they don't have different goals which don't match with his goals, so why they should be there, they can choose something else.
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how Gary found courage?
Everlasting no to an everlasting yeah.
Yeah, so what he did?
Considering that everlasting no is inhibited and everlasting yeah is yes to achieving the goal. Russell and Farley are telling us how we can maintain an aggressive, goal-directed, self-determining attitude even in the presence of very real and serious threats and dangers.
Oh yeah, so when he was in danger situation, right? He describes here that he was in danger situation, and then he just decided that I will meet it and defy it, right? So he took his position. He chooses his attitude, not fly and just be afraid, but he chose the attitude defy it. And so thought they rushed like a stream of fire over my whole soul, and I shook base fear away from me forever. Again, yes, again, when he maintained his fear, he got the strength. He faced his fear, right? And he got a straight. I was strong of unknown strength, a spirit almost a god. Ever from the time the temper of the mist of my misery was changed. Not fear or winning sorrow was it, but indignation and grim fire-eyed defense. Okay, so again, the same as we discussed before. The situation was the same, right? But his attitude changed. And once he decided to defy it, he got that extra power and he didn't feel fear anymore. So this is, again, it is all about us. It is not about situation. The situation we cannot choose, right? Sometimes that some situations that don't depend on us, but we always can choose how to behave and how to control our thoughts. And even if it is company, as Alka says, right? Different company, different expectations, still it is all depends on the person, how he want to face this situation, and which attitude he will choose for himself, how he will make those calls. He can just think, oh, I'm so tired, why I should do 250 calls per day, it is not realistic, it will kill me, right? Or he will say, okay, I defied it, I will do, I want to be successful, I want to be professional, I want to be millionaire or billionaire, and it will be totally different attitude why he's doing that. And results will be totally different. The person who will make 250 calls with wrong attitude, he will not be such successful as that one who will do the same with right attitude. But of course, everybody who will do 250 calls will be professional at the end. Because it is no way he will not.
Yeah.
That's why Grant Cardone just trained them like this, because he knows if they do this every day, they will be successful, whatever it takes. But
Yeah.
it will be much better state and much better results if people do this with understanding why they are there and why they came there, what they want. Again, it comes to the big goal, right? Because if they have really big goal, they will do those calls with joy, because they know why they are there. Yeah,
Exactly.
this is important. Yeah, because not every person from the street goes to work with Grant Cardone, right? There are just people who know, and they know the rules, and they go there, like make their own decision. They expect what they will do. Yes, so
You've got to have a purpose.
yes. Again, it all comes for the big goal. If you have that big goal, you see that image, you know that you do this 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, you know who you will become. So these things that are temporary and inconvenient, you don't think about them much, because you see how your life will be later after you do that. You don't focus on your everyday inconvenience, because this is temporary. You see yourself who you become.
Yes, and I also think that Grant Cardone is also one of the key persons of Think and Grow Rich Foundation, and he is also using, of course, his mental faculties, as Lena said in the beginning, and that's the only way to make those quantum leaps. And if you have to do that work, you have to use your mental faculties to close those sales. That's no other way to, have like a confident and because then you are again in the rat race. You're working hard, hard, hard to get those sales. But the way is to do it the other way with your mental faculties. But it doesn't mean that you have to make those calls, but in a different way. So as Elena said, like you have to use your state of mind when you are on those calls. If not, you're just doing the rat race, working hard, 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 and hoping and wishing to make a sale.
Yeah, because if you're not in the right state, you can make 300 calls and they will not work, right? Because people don't listen what you say. They unconsciously pick your frequency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is all what we learn here with you. This is all combined. It all goes together. So start discussing the next one. I will bring charger for computer. Just start discussing the next paragraph. Okay, I'm back.
With Paul.
Yeah, so there is the last paragraph, which we didn't discuss. Let's do this. A mountain climbing over molehills.
I guess what it's trying to say here is that on the last paragraph, like it says that, you know, when you make mountains out of molehills, when you exaggerate, when you know, your perception is different, then that would cause ulcers, because you're climbing mountains out of molehills. You're making a situation where it's not needed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a debutante facing her first ball may act as if she is going on trial for her life. Many people going to be interviewed about a job act as they are scared to death, right? So it is again attitude, right? So if they just change attitude, they will not be so so emotionally stressed. Perhaps this life or death feeling that many people experience in any sort of crisis situations is a heritage from our dim and distant past, when failure to primitive man usually was synonymous with death, right? And this is just maybe like failure people consider as such a bad thing, right? So if we just change attitude to failure, okay, I failed, so what? I will get experience, right? Nothing such a bad as death happens if I fail. So if we change our attitude, we also will not be so much stressed about the outcome. So this is all about this, that people just makes mountains over molehills, like it is not such a bad thing as people think failure. Actually, success just comes from the many failures, right? Otherwise, how can success come if there is no failure? So it is again attitude to failure. So when we change this attitude, we also will not be so stressed about the process. Okay, so regardless of its origin, however, experience of numerous patients has shown that it can be cured by calmly and rationally analyzing the situation. Ask yourself, what is the worst that can possibly happen if I fail? What can be worst, right? So rather than responding automatically, blindly, and irrationally. Okay, so yeah, we can speak with ourselves, ask what worst can happen, like what is if it is happen, and then we see that nothing actually bad happens. Yes. Okay, so close close scrutiny will show that most of these everyday so-called crisis situations are not life or death matters at all, but opportunities to either advance or stay where you are. This is very important. If we just look at this as opportunity to advance or stay where you are. So, okay, we can advance. If not, we just stay where we are, right? And then when we understand this, we will not be so much stressed. Few people realize just how potent such a simple change of attitude can be. Everything depends upon this outlook to the attitude. I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Okay, so this is all about attitude. And the key to any crisis situation is you, right? This is also very important. The key, whatever situation we happen to be in, we should know that the key is me, right? My attitude, my decisions, my using high mental faculties. And in every situation, we can be winners and have control our mind, control ourselves, and also grow and learn from everything we can just face. You can learn to make crisis work for you by making each crisis a creative opportunity. This is also what we should have attitude, that every crisis we just can see as creative opportunity, and it depends on us what we can create. Anything else you would like to add here?
Thank you very much for a very, very insightful lesson.
You're welcome. Lika today was silent. Lika, next time I will ask you more questions.
No, thank you, Elena, for sharing your journey. And I'm so grateful that you're okay and that you're a great example for all the things that are teaching in books. And you're a great example. Thank you for your courage and your confidence.
Yeah, also thank you so much that you are with me in this study of this amazing book. And I think that we all learn so much from this book. And it is important to implement everything that we learn in our everyday life. It can be totally different situations, but we can practice when we are in a relaxed situation, right? As it was said in this article, that better to practice all these principles in our daily life when we are relaxed and when there is no stress, because when we face different situations, this is all will serve us, and it will all help us just to stay the way we are, control our mind, have the great attitude, be grateful for everything, and it will all help us to grow and use every situation as a new opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks,
Yes,
Elena.
thank you again, yes. And have a very safe and successful week in the week to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.